race season's over. Time to get rolling on things for next year. Show you what we got going on inside the shop. So it's the end of the season, and we've got to do quite a bit of repairs on our truck and trailer. So we're emptying it out so that there's room to make all the repairs. There's repairs to be done on the brakes, suspension, wheel bearings, tires, and then there's cosmetic stuff like to fix some of the cabinets that aren't closing correctly, or something that's fallen off the wall, different things like that. So just to clean and paint a little bit, clean it up, make it look a little nice would be great too. So we've emptied everything out. We've put parts and components in totes that are just gonna end up going back in there after we're done. And that was an all-day project, just getting everything out. This is a small amount of the stuff that came out of there. There's tons of things we keep in there for spares, for adjustments. We keep a ton of springs and shocks, different components. So, and right now it's kind of it's just dirty. Man. So
she needs some TLC.
It's empty, but it's dirty because like when all the stuff's in here, the tires are in here, it covers up all that dirt that's on the floor and the walls and stuff. But you take it all out and you can get to it to clean. So we'll come in here and do the pressure washer and wash it all out. So kind of excited to do this. We've got these cabinets, some of the bases need a few extra screws to keep the stuff from falling down. We've got a door like here. This door, every time you try to open it, it doesn't really open. So we gotta do a little tweaking on that. Just the dumb little things like that. Clean the carpets. Maybe replace some. Something we do so if you have a motorhome or a toter home, that's what we're dealing with here, is we empty the main tank. We got a hose, so we hook this hose onto the tank to drain it, and then use the same hose with an Earl's racing fitting, hooks up pipe thread into the main suction line, and we put this in a jug of antifreeze or RV antifreeze and turn the pump on and run the antifreeze through the sink, the shower, the toilet, so that none of the lines and stuff will freeze up. And this is where the water heater is. We drain the water out of the water heater. And what I should have said earlier is we turn the valves off on the hot water so that when we pump the antifreeze through, it doesn't go into the water heater. It takes a lot of antifreeze to fill the water heater, so it's easier just to empty that and close it off. To turn off the hot water heater, we're turning off the two valves that go into the heater, which are down here at the bottom and up here at the top. We're turning those two off, and then we're turning this one on. And then when it comes time for spring, we're going to open those two valves up and then close this one. So another good thing, some of your battery operated devices like your transponders, you don't want to leave them out in the cold. So it's good to bring that stuff out of your trailer and empty it out. Anyway, these batteries, they don't like the cold. So if your trailer gets stored outside in the winter, I would suggest getting them out of there. Any liquids like your aerosols, I mean, as simple as a can of brake clean or WD-40 won't function anymore, possibly if you leave it out freezing cold all winter. So might as well bring it in, and something that people probably overlook or forget about. So started stripping our cars apart, and something to like make room in the shop is we've got some rolling shelves and rolling carts to put the parts on. So take the parts off the car, organize them on the shelves. Okay, here's all the parts that go to this car, and parts get cleaned, inspected, some replaced that need to be replaced. Some, maybe a steering box or a rear end can get shipped out for a rebuild. Transmission can go out for a rebuild. Oil lines and tanks can get cleaned and reused. So we got our parts here. We've got a new chassis here that we're gonna put them all onto. We've started installing the brake lines, and we've got to clean the parts and then start putting them on the cars. So we've got some body carts here that we made so that we can get the bodies out of the shop. They take up a ton of room in the shop, so there's no place to work. So we've put bodies for each car, try to label the panels. I started putting the serial number of the car on the inside of the door and quarter, so you know which door and quarter goes to each other. Hard to find those pieces come spring when you need them. You don't want to waste time with that, so we try to keep the body to each car on a cart, and then put it outside in the barn and get it out of the way until you need it next year. So here we have some chassis that we've stripped, and we've got them out of the shop and in here just for storage. That way, if we sell them or put them back together later, either way, we're not working on them right now, so they're out of the way. Here's an example of a pile of body panels that's going to go out in the barn on a cart to save some space in the shop, because you take it off the car and it's just a pile in the way of everything. After we take out the engines from the cars, sometimes while they're still in the car, we'll fire the engine up and get it warm, spray some fogging oil down the carburetor, and that lubricates the inside of the engine before you pull it out and put it away. If the engine's already out of the car, what I like to do is take the header plates off and take the spark plugs out and spray some fogging oil in the header ports and in the spark plug holes, so that your piston rings and your valves don't corrode. So then you can spin the engine over every so often and spray a little more in there and spin it over. So like I might once a month or something come out and pull those out, spray some more oil in them, turn it over, and leave it in a different position if we leave the rocker arms on it. Or you can go through and pull all the rocker arms off to make sure that the valve springs or the valves are all closed. Or you can just plan on putting all new valve springs in come spring. So either way, it's important to keep it lubricated. Here's a staircase that Rich made so that we can safely put our parts up on this pallet racking.
That's one.
We don't have a
tall ladder.
We don't have an indoor forklift to be able to put the pallets up on here. So we're gonna have to do it by hand, and we want to organize all of our parts on the shelf so that we know where they are, to put them back on the car next year, and that we can create more space in the shop and be able to find something when you need it. So really nice to have that, and we're gonna have to put some time into reorganizing all these shelves and find a place to put all these parts that are not on the shelf yet. The toter from the trailer, we got this key with a piece of tape around it so you know that it goes to this door. And the handle's right here. Put the handle in and you rotate it clockwise to put the landing gear down. Once the landing gear has a decent enough amount of pressure on it, you'll start to hear the airbags on the truck start to lift up, and the weight's going to take off of the truck. Now you want to take enough weight off that when you start to pull forward, the truck doesn't raise up and hit the hitch, because it'll wreck this back deck area when the hitch hits it. So you want to have enough pressure off it that doesn't happen. But you also don't want to have too much pressure that it's picking up on the truck, because then as the truck pulls out, it's going to fall. Ideally, it's just the truck pulls straight out and doesn't rise or fall. So it's really helpful to have two people. Then you can kind of inch forward 1 inch at a time and just slowly see that the truck isn't too high or too low, and you can adjust. You can have a person adjust the trailer, tell them to stop, and adjust it as you pull forward. Now, in the midst of that, as you unhook the fifth wheel hitch, you're going to want to back into the trailer and then pull the brake so that it takes the pressure off of the latch. If there's pressure of it trying to pull forward, you're not going to be able to unhook it. There's a pin here that you're going to pull out. It's a quick pin like on a bumper, and then you're going to flip this switch and pull this lever so that this lever can go forward. That's your lock, and then this is the lever that unhooks the back teeth on the hitch. So you'll be able to pull this out, pull that forward, and then that'll be released. And at that point, you better have your feet set so that when you pull forward, the hitch doesn't hit the deck. You're gonna have to unhook the glad hands. They just twist like that. When you go to hook them back up, put some grease on here, and then they just rotate back in. The two, they got to line up on this side and this side, so they fit down in and twist. And as long as your glad hands are unhooked, deck is clear, unhook your electric, then you can pull forward and you're all set. When it's time to hook it back up, you're going to back into it, and you're going to adjust the height so that it lines up, so that it's going to just slide right under and it doesn't have to. Maybe you want the truck to kind of dip a little bit, but you don't. Ideally, you just want it lined right up so that it slides right in. And put a lot of grease around that horseshoe on the fifth wheel plate, the top and bottom. It's a good idea to inspect that plate for cracks or anything. We had to replace that last year because it was cracked. So good to look at that stuff. And you're going to back into it. You're going to make sure that this should automatically almost clip back, but if it doesn't, you're going to have to do it manually, and then put the safety pin down in and latch it. And then you're going to hook your glad hands up, and then you're going to test your brakes. So once that's latched, before you let the landing gear down, you want to test the brakes. So you're going to release the brakes on the truck and leave the brakes on the trailer, and try to pull the truck forward. And you'll be able to tell that thing's hooked and it ain't coming out of there. At that point, you can reapply the brakes and get out, raise up the landing gear, and check your lights and everything, and you should be all set. So we're trying to make room, so naturally everything that you see here is for sale. If you'd like to purchase something, you're looking for some parts or components or stuff to go racing, get a hold of us. Also, looking for someone energetic and agile to help our team. We really need to get more organized, and so I'm looking for somebody that has the organization quality and would be interested in helping us improve that. So if you know of someone that might be interested in joining our team, make sure to send them this video. We already have some tremendous guys working on our team that are doing a great job, but we've seen what we could do to improve. So I really feel that someone that is eager to be part of our race team could be a great addition. We're grateful for all of our supporters, for everybody that's put a hand in on helping us this season, and we're really focused and energized towards the 2024 season. So we're looking forward to it.